So I'm turning 30 this year, and in my 20s I made quite a few money mistakes that I really wish I didn't. So in this video I'm going to be sharing with you 9 money mistakes that you should avoid in your 20s. Hey friends, welcome back to the Chris Shao Show, where I make videos about personal finance, saving money and investing. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Money mistake number 1 is not investing. This is a mistake that I personally made in my 20s. Instead of investing my money, I held it in cash because I was scared to invest and I actually had no idea where to begin. Because of compound interest, the longer you wait on the sidelines and not investing, the more it's going to cost you in the long run. Let's say you're 20 years old right now and you invest $2,000 every year at an 8% rate of return for 20 years. So when you're 40, you'll end up with $98,846. Now let's imagine that you have waited until you were 30 to invest. Maybe you were a little bit scared, right? And you weren't sure on what to do. When you turn 40, you would only have $31,291. That means waiting 10 years would have cost you $67,555. If you're still hesitant about investing, think of it like you're treating your future self. Imagine waking up in 30 years time and you're a millionaire and all you had to do was invest every month into an index fund. That's it. If you want to learn more about investing, check out my index funds versus managed funds versus ETFs video, where I explain the different types of funds that are available in Australia. I'll leave a link down in the description box and also in the top right hand corner. Money mistake number 2 is trying to get rich quick. When you're in your 20s, it can be really tempting to try to get rich quick. Especially when you're on social media all the time and you're seeing all these influencers and celebrities living it up. The next thing you know, you're Googling how to get rich quick and the results show you a secret investment scheme that you can buy for the low price of $2,999 or a multi-level marketing opportunity with guaranteed results, or maybe a special cryptocurrency that is going to the moon. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the only person that is going to get rich are the people selling you all of these schemes. Unfortunately, in life, there is no guaranteed way to get rich quick. But there is a slow and steady way to build wealth, and that is to invest regularly over the long term in a diversified index fund. Let's say you invest $500 a month for 35 years at an 8% rate of return. At the very end, you will have $1.1 million. The third money mistake you should avoid in your 20s is buying an expensive car. So you're in your early 20s and you finally have a decent paying job. Now you want to treat yourself and upgrade your car to something fancy and nice. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Spending a lot of money, or worse, going into debt for a fancy car is a waste of money on something that will quickly depreciate. Not to mention, if you're buying a high-end luxury vehicle like Mercedes or a BMW, you're going to have to pay a premium on the upkeep and maintenance. On average, new vehicles depreciate by 19% during the first year on the road. Now, if you want to upgrade your car, the best option is to buy a second-hand car from a reliable brand such as Toyota or Mazda. It might not be the sexiest vehicle, but it will get you from point A to point B, and more importantly, you won't be deep in debt. Personally, I'm currently driving a Toyota Corolla from 2012. It's not flashy or fancy, but it is reliable. It drives pretty smoothly, and most importantly, it didn't cost me a fortune. Another money mistake to avoid in your 20s is not building your credit score. I have a friend who is scared of credit cards and refuses to get one, even though she can afford it. Now, the downside of this is that her credit score was very low. And when she went to the bank to apply for home loans, the bank actually required her to have a bigger deposit than the average person. The easiest way to build your credit score in your 20s is to get a low or no fee credit card and to always pay the balance in full every month. You should be using this credit card for everyday purchases like groceries, and definitely not on luxury goods that you cannot afford. Otherwise, you're going to be trapped in credit card debt. Speaking of credit card debt, that is my next money mistake you should avoid at all costs in your 20s. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. The problem with credit card debt is that it just snowballs incredibly quickly thanks to the high interest that they carry. In Australia, that can range from 12% all the way up to a whopping 20%. Now, 4 tips to help you avoid credit card debt. Number 1 is to reduce your credit limit. Number 2 is to pay your balance in full every month. Number 3 is to make sure you pay on time. And number 4, only spend what you can afford. For anyone with debt on multiple credit cards, there's 2 options you can try. Number 1 is to pay off the smallest debt first. This will help keep you motivated and on track to getting out of debt. You should then tackle the next smallest debt. The other option is to pay the debt with the highest interest rate first, then you can repay your other cards one by one. Another mistake you should avoid in your 20s is not shopping around and comparing quotes. You can save a lot of money by shopping around and comparing quotes on services like your mobile plan, insurance, energy bills, even home loans. A lot of people will stay with the first provider that they signed up with, and they don't realize that there's a lot of better deals out there. In fact, a 2017 survey found that 40% of Australians are still with the same bank that they signed up with as a child. So do yourself a favor and set some time to review your current providers. Then you should compare it with the other options that are available out there. I actually did this a few months ago and discovered that Vodafone had released a cheaper version of my mobile plan without telling me. So I quickly switched over and I saved myself $5 a month. I know that might not sound like a lot, but every dollar that is saved is a dollar that I can invest. When you're in your 20s, you're probably not thinking about unexpected expenses or having an emergency fund. And you wouldn't be alone in that thinking, because a 2019 survey of 1,000 Aussies found that 55.5% of them couldn't cover an unexpected financial cost of $1,000 with their savings. Having an emergency fund acts as a financial safety net. This means if an unexpected cost comes up, or if you lose your job, you won't have to go into debt. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you have 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses saved up in cash. Now, if you don't know what your monthly expenses are, I highly recommend you start budgeting ASAP. Another money mistake you should avoid in your 20s is not budgeting. Personally, I didn't start budgeting until I was 25, and before then I had no idea how much I was spending. As a result, I purchased a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have. If you've never budgeted before, don't worry, there's heaps of free budgeting apps and templates that you can use to help you get started. On a related note, do check out my 8 things I no longer buy video. It might help you come up with some ideas on how you can cut down on your spending. I'll leave a link down in the description box below. And the last money mistake you should avoid in your 20s is going into debt for your wedding. So you found your one and only, and now you want to tie the knot. Congratulations! But your special day also comes with a pretty special price tag. So the average Australian wedding costs $36,000. And according to a Money Smart survey, 60% of couples got a loan for their wedding. I had a quick look on the internet, and personal loans of 3 years can have an interest rate between 6% and all the way up to 15%. So before you go and take a big loan for your wedding, you should ask yourself whether or not you're okay with starting married life with debt looming over you for the first few years. Also, a 2014 study in the US found that spending more than $20,000 US on a wedding and between $2,000 and $4,000 on an engagement ring actually increased the risk of that marriage ending in an early divorce. Apart from a house or a car, a wedding is one of the most expensive things that people will spend their money on. So make sure you create a budget and stick to it. Also, shop around for as many options as you can. As always, thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. I hope you learned one or two money mistakes you should avoid in your 20s. Make sure to subscribe for more videos about saving money, personal finance, and investing. Also, every Monday, I have a new video where I break down the most important business news in Australia and around the world. As always, an important disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, this is not financial advice. This video and my channel is for general information only. As with anything in life, you should do your own due diligence and seek independent advice.